this is class 9 Science chapter 2 part 4. The name of this chapter is Matter Around Us Pure. In the previous part of the video, we have learned that saturated solutions cannot dissolve more solutes, and saturation of solution can be altered by temperature, and concentration of solution can be calculated by mass of solute and mass or volume of solvent or solution. This part of video will enable us to understand separation of components of mixture. So let's start. First we will see separation of components of mixture. Of components of mixture. When we decide to separate the components of a mixture, then there are several techniques which depend upon the nature of the components of which the mixture is formed. That is, the type of mixture, and the component which we want to collect. So upon these 2 points, the technique of the separation of the components of a mixture depends. First we will see separation by using separating funnel. Separating funnel. This is separating funnel. This is a beaker. This is a stopper, and this is the stand. By this method, we will separate the liquids which are immiscible. Immiscible liquids are separated by this technique. Here we have taken the mixture of oil and water. So in this mixture there are 2 components, that is water and oil. We know that the density of water is greater than that of oil. Since the density of oil is less, therefore oil will float over water. So there is a separating layer between these two liquids. So what we do here, that we will start this stopper, and when we start this stopper, the water which is downside will drip into this beaker, and when this upper part of oil comes here, we will close this stopper. Thus we get water in this beaker and the oil will remain in the separating funnel. So by this method we can separate the mixture of liquids having different density. This method is generally used for separating oil from water. Next is separation by evaporation. Evaporation. Suppose we have the mixture of salt and water. We need to separate salt from the solution of salt and water. We will take these components or the mixture of salt and water in this container, and we will heat it there is a net of wire. When we will heat it, the water will evaporated from this solution. So water will be evaporated and the salt will remain in the container. So this is the method by which by evaporation we can separate one component from the other. In this method, that is by separation by evaporation, there is one component which is non-volatile and another component which is volatile. So during heating, the volatile component will be evaporated and the non-volatile component will remain in the container. So by this way we can separate salt from water from its solution. Next method is separation by filtration. By filtration. In this technique, a filter paper is used, and that filter paper is here, and this filter paper is actually wrapped in this funnel. This is the mixture, and this is a glass rod. So this mixture is dripped along with this glass rod to this funnel. It is funnel in which a filter paper is set. When this mixture is dripped in this funnel, then the components having the size smaller, like water, will drip into this beaker, and the components having the size greater than the filter paper will remain in the filtered paper. So these particles have a greater size, that is mud has greater size than the pores of the filter paper. Therefore these will remain in the filter paper, and the water, since it has the less size or a smaller size than the pores of the filter paper, it will go into the beaker. So here in the separating technique, the size of the component matter. Size of the component is, if there is a filter, suppose it is like this one, suppose this is the filter, and these are the pores. So any component having size less than this pore, this will pass through the filter paper, and any having size greater, like this one, this will not be able to pass through the filter paper, not able to pass through. Therefore these will be separated from the filter paper. So the filter paper technique is applied where the size of the components, one is very smaller and other is larger. So the larger particles will remain in the filter paper and the smaller particles will pass through the filter paper. Next is separation by crystallization. By crystallization. In this technique, the mixture is heated. Suppose this is the mixture. It will be heated and certainly there is a network of iron wires. When it is heated, the volatile component will get evaporated, and after certain period this solution becomes saturated. When the solution attains the saturation point, that is, the solution becomes saturated, it is cooled. And when it is cooled, the extra dissolved components will come out of the solution. As we all know that this is known as crystallization. So by this method, the solid dissolved in the liquid comes out or separated, and this method is known as crystallization. Next method is separation by distillation. By distillation. This technique is used where the components are in the liquid state and have difference in their boiling point more than 20 degrees Celsius, like mixture of water and alcohol. In this mixture, the components will be separated by distillation method. Here, this is the mixture of two liquids, say it be water and alcohol. It is heated, and when it is heated, the liquid having less boiling point, in this case alcohol, will get evaporated first. This will be evaporated first, and water will remain in the liquid phase. And since alcohol is evaporated, it will rise up and pass through this one. And when it starts passing through this one, there is a condenser, and this condenser is used here. And this condenser actually, this is the condenser used here, and in this condenser cold water is injected through this pipe, and this injected cold water becomes hot and it comes out from this pipe. So from this pipe, it is actually outlet. From this outlet, the hot water is removed, and this is actually inlet. From this inlet, cold water is pushed into the condenser. This is the condenser, and this cold water mixed these vapors, condense in this pipe, and when it is condensed, it comes in this conical flask in the liquid state, and it is alcohol. So alcohol is separated and water will remain here. So thus water and alcohols are separated by distillation method. One thing we have to remember here, that distillation method is used only when the boiling point of the components, the difference between the boiling points of the components is more than 20 degrees Celsius. Next is separation of components by fractional distillation. Fractional distillation. It is same as the distillation, but only one difference is here, that is fractional distillation, and in the setup this is extra thing. Otherwise all the part of the setup remains same as of the distillation. So this is fractional distillation. And this setup is known as fractionating column. It is actually mounted here to provide time to the vapors which gets evaporated from the mixture, so that the component having higher boiling point condenses during this one or during the passage through fractionating column. So only the vapor of that component whose boiling point is less will be able to pass through this fractionating column and goes into this condenser. So this is only the use of fractionating column. Otherwise all the process is same, that is, this is the mixture from which almost both will be evaporated, but the component having less boiling point would be able to pass this fractionating column, and this vapor will go into this condenser, and in the condenser this vapor is liquefied and drip into this flask. And so this is the pure liquid component, or the other component what we want to separate here. So one thing is very notable here, that the difference between the boiling point of the two components should be less than 20 degrees Celsius. So this is very important here, that the difference between the boiling point should be less than 20 degrees Celsius. Otherwise simple distillation will be applied. Next is separation based on sublimation. Separation based on sublimation. We all know about sublimation, that in the case of sublimation the solid is directly converted to gas. There is no liquid phase, it is converted into gas directly, no liquid phase. So this is solid sublimation. So in the case of sublimation, say an example we take here of camphor and salt, common salt it is. If we take this mixture and we have to separate these two, then we will perform this technique. In this technique the mixture is kept here. This is the mixture of salt and camphor. It is a china dish and a wire network is here, and this is the lamp by which it is heated, and a funnel is kept over this china dish, and this is inverted funnel, and the top of this one is clogged by a cotton plug. So it is clogged so that the vapor evaporated from here should not pass through this chamber. So this is actually camphor, what is being evaporated. This is camphor. So this camphor is evaporated, and since there is no passage to pass through this one, therefore it will remain here and gets cooled and converted into solid. So this is actually solidified camphor, and here the salt will remain. So thus salt is separated from this camphor. So this technique of inverted funnel is used for separating a sublime substance from non-sublime substance from a mixture. Next is separation based on magnetic properties. Suppose there is a mixture of iron filings plus sand. There is a mixture of these two, that is iron filings and sand. One thing what is notable here, that this iron filing is magnetic substance and the sand is non-magnetic substance. As we know that the magnetic substances can be attracted by a magnet and the non-magnetic substance cannot be attracted by a magnet. So if we use a magnet in this mixture, then the iron filings will be attracted by the magnet and the sand will not be attracted by the magnet. So what will happen, that these iron filings will stuck to the magnet and the sand will remain in the dish. So by this method we can separate these iron filings from sand. So one thing what we have to always keep in our mind, that this separation, that is the separation by the magnetic properties, one component should be magnetic and another component should be non-magnetic. If it is not so, or if there are two components or more components which are magnetic by nature, then those components will not be separated by this technique. So there should be one magnetic component and another non-magnetic component, then only this technique will be applied. Next technique is chromatography. Here chroma means color. It was first used for separation of colors. First used for separation of colors, that is the color pigments, therefore it is named so. So this chromatography is used for separating those solutes which are soluble in same solvent. Means if a solvent is water and there are two components, let it be A and B, and these two components must be soluble in water, then we can use this technique, that is chromatography. So always we have to keep it our mind that those components can be separated by chromatography which are soluble in a common solvent. Suppose if one is solvent in fat and one is solvent in water, then this cannot be separated by chromatography. So in the case of chromatography, only those components can be separated which are soluble in common solvent, that is single solvent. So what technique is used here, that these two particles or these two components are solvent in water, but their solubility will be different. Suppose A is more soluble than this B. A is more soluble. Then what will happen? If we take a chromatography strip, this is a strip used for chromatography, and the mixture of these in the liquid form, suppose a drop is dropped here, then these two components, that is A, let A be in red and B be in light blue color, then these two will start moving with water. But we see, since B is less soluble, therefore its extent of diffusion will be less than that of A. A will diffuse larger. So A will travel maximum distance from here to here, up to here, and B lie and it covers less distance, therefore it lies nearer to the mixture where we have used. So by this way we can separate out these two, that is, it is B and it is A. So A component and B components can be separated by this one. One thing what we should know here, that these components should be in trace. This should not be in a maximum amount or higher concentration, cannot be separated by this one. And this technique is used for blood test, urine test, and so many. There are many. Nowadays these are not only limited to the colors what it was once, but the name remains same, that is chromatography. Next is separation of different gases from air. Different gases from air. In the air, we all know that there are mainly two gases, that is, one is nitrogen and another is oxygen. So when we try to separate different gases from air, then we need only these two, that is nitrogen and oxygen. So we will start it like this one. We take air and this air is compressed and cooled by increasing pressure and lowering temperature. Then the air becomes liquefied. The air becomes liquefied and it is now known as liquefied air. When this air is liquefied, it is allowed to warm up so that it expands, warm up slowly in fractional distillation column. Distillation column, and then this liquefied air expands and the gases are separated at different heights of the fractionating column. So by this way the gases can be separated. So this part of video enabled us to understand by separating funnel, immiscible liquids are separated, solids dissolved in liquid is separated by evaporation and crystallization, miscible liquids are separated by distillation. Next part of this video will enable us to understand substance, element and compound. So for that time being, stay subscribed. See you soon.